I get asked to be someone's mentor several times a week, as I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
And I've never given people advice on why that isn't the right approach. But you said there that you don't think that's the right approach. So I wanted to just pause and ask you why.
Well, you don't go up to a strange person and say, "Do you want to have sex?" You go up and say, "Do you want to do you want to have a conversation? Do you want to have another drink? Do you want to grab coffee? Do you want to go to the movies? Can I ask you a question? Can I get some advice from you?" You ease into the relationship.
Yeah.
Because to ask someone to be your mentor is just very intimidating. The person has to go, "Do I want to meet with this person every month for the next 5 years and then break up with them if I'm not enjoying this relationship?" So you don't need to say, "Will you be my mentor?" That sounds like a lot. Just, "Can I get your advice on something? I really respect you. I think you're so smart about this stuff. I'm facing some issues in my life, some questions. I'd love to just get your advice. Can we grab coffee or can we do a 5 or 10-minute call?" If someone emails me and says, I get a lot. I'm thinking about starting a business. I'm thinking about going to business school. Can I get some time? I try to say yes, and I say, I can do a 15-minute Zoom call with you. If someone asks me to be their mentor, there's just no way. I don't have time to, I can barely mentor me right now. I just don't have time to commit to being someone's mentor. But if someone emails me and says, I need advice around this specific issue, and then what happens? You hear that they're either raised by a single mother like me. They're a good person. They're struggling. Their sister's got an eating disorder and they're struggling with it. And they're thinking about starting a business. And you're like, "Oh, no, no, don't do that right now. You've got a good job." Like you just help them with some common sense decisions, common sense. And then what happens? You become emotionally invested in their success. And then they email you a month later and you're like, "What's going on?" And you want to do another call. Ease into it. So anyways, I think it's much easier to just ask someone for help and for advice. And I think there's a lot of people out there. It doesn't have to be a baller like Stephen Bartlett. There's a lot of smart people out there that can give you good advice.
Because I think this is really important. I don't think as I said, I don't think I've had anyone talk about this, but you get a lot of messages. Have you been able to figure out exactly why some of them perk your interest? So much so that you'd give them 15 minutes on a Zoom call. Is there a sort of a psychological formula that gets to you?
Well, the first is, okay, first off, brevity. When I get like a long, a novel, I'm just not going to get through it. Obviously, and this is hard to control, but they reference someone or they make a connection. We're both graduates of Berkeley, or I met you, I came up to you and said hi to you at Cannes, or we have a mutual friend, or I too was raised by they make some sort of personal connection, and they make the ask very crisply. "I'm writing because I'd love some advice around this. I'm writing because I'd like an introduction. I'm writing because I'm applying for your position for managing editor for Prop G Media." Just like get to the point. What's the ask? And try and make some sort of personal connection. And the other thing I would say, although I hate, I don't want to encourage people to do this, be persistent. Because a lot of times I get an email and I think, "Oh, it's a good kid. I should really set up a call or something." And then I go on to the next 85 emails I have. And I don't even remember getting that email. So I would say, don't be afraid to hit again and just say, "Hey, just putting it at the top of your inbox. Know you're busy. If I can grab 10 minutes of your time, I'd be really appreciative." And also don't get discouraged if they don't get back to you. That's okay. It's not a reflection on you. Go on to the next. Just don't write it off. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.